Oh, this is the latest episode of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Ryan. I'm going to be your host today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is episode 695 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome back, everybody,
Ooh.
this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Mike, we have just a few weeks. I don't know if you realize this, but February marks
Yes.
the beginning of free agency in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m., March 12th.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We have the combine starting in about a week. We'll follow that for about a week or so. And then about another 10 days, give or take, after that, it will be the free agency market opening. Uh, will be open for the NFL. I can't wait, Mike. I can't wait. We have so much money. I cannot wait to
A
see what this Steeler team
lot of
does
money.
this year. We know that we have needs. We know that there's things out there we got to get. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
We are in a good position to do it. We got a load, an ass load of cap space, Mike. So hopefully this turns into some promising moves. We're going to talk about some Steelers uh, possibilities today, along with other things, the NFL, the Pitt Panthers, and also, Mike, a big hockey game tonight between Team USA and Team Canada. That's always a showdown. But first, I do want to say, you know, when you see these kind of things, you hate to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I hate to see more is when they start happening in groups.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm talking about Mike Lang. He had passed away last night. The voice of the Pittsburgh Penguin for a long time. Everybody loved Mike Lang. He retired. He's been laying low, but he had passed away last night. In about an hour after that, I see Scott Sauerbeck. I don't know if you recognize this name, Mike. He was a relief pitcher for the Pirates for a while.
Yes.
You
Yes.
recognize his name from around the majors. He passed away at 53. So Mike Lang at 76, Scott Sauerbeck at 53, all within about an hour.
Man.
So you hate to see it because you know these things. Call me whatever, but these things happen in threes all the time. And
Yep,
when it
that's what it feels
happens,
like.
yes. So hope hope everybody's all right around the berg. Keep trugging
Yeah.
along, but two within an hour's time.
Yeah.
That's not you start to think, all right,
Yeah.
who's the
Yeah.
next one going to be?
Yeah, exactly. You get that like that morbid thought of like, oh God, who's next? Because like you said,
Yeah.
it always feels like it's in threes, and then my God, it sucks. Yeah, that Mike Lang news. I woke up this morning to get ready for work. I was like, oh, I got a few minutes. Check my phone, see what's going on, and I saw that. And it was like, oh, I was like a kick in the gut, man. He, like you said, he was the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and to me, he was the voice of hockey. There's no other hockey announcer that comes close to him. And he kind of ruined me for listening to other hockey announcers. He set That's how high he set the bar. And and for me, he was the perfect play-by-play guy because you could be listening to the radio, have it on the TV in the background. He get excited, you go in and you see that your team was scored against. And he loved the game and called the games fair. It just sucks, man. He's gone. He was To me, he's the greatest announcer in Pittsburgh history and might be the greatest hockey announcer of all time. And, he ended up in the, NHL Hall of Fame.
Funny thing about Mike Lang, he had such a unique style.
Yep.
And as Mike was saying, I mean, it was it was so unique. And I remember I worked overnight for almost 2 decades, and I'd have to go in around 7 o'clock in the evening. And when I did, that's a lot of time, in Eastern Standard Time. That's when a lot of sporting events take place, especially the
Yep.
Pirates and the Penguins. And I can remember, we were in the building, and if you'd go outside for a break, a smoke break, whatever it was, and the game was on where we worked at, you would be out back on break, and Mike Lang would just be carrying on and going and screaming and going crazy, and you would have thought, geez, oh man, what both teams must have scored 2 goals when I was out here. You'd go back and the score was the exact
Yep.
same as it was before you went
Uh-huh.
out. You thought, what the hell did I
Right?
just miss? What did I miss? But that's
Yeah.
what it was. That was Mike
Yeah.
Lang's style. You didn't know if your team
Mhm.
scored. You didn't know if their team scored. You didn't know if you just won the cup, or you don't know if you just took a timeout. It was that Mike with him. And that's kind of why I did want to just kind of talk about this a bit, because people that aren't right here in Pittsburgh, they might not understand what Mike Lang was all about. And And again, it was very interesting. And when he retired, it was a bummer, just as it
Yeah.
was when Myron Cope hung it up, for the Steelers. But yeah,
Yeah.
sad to say, Mike Lang, it's 76
Yeah. And like I
years
was
old.
going through Twitter and like ex players that weren't, Penguin players, like guys that, the Penguins played against, or they were tweeting out stuff. And he was Martin Baron, the goalie. He was like, yeah, I was beaten like a rented mule a bunch of times, and like there's nothing better than that quick little conversation with Mike Lang after the morning skate. Like other players, from opposing teams, they knew who he was. They knew his love for the game, and like, oh God, who was someone on the Hartford Whalers? He would always, always when they came through, like, hey Mike, if I score a goal, can you give me a call? That's how you transcend not just your local market,
Right.
like everyone inside that league knew who you were. And that's something special for a local broadcaster. Kind of like, in baseball, who was it? Vin Scully. Everyone knew Vin Scully. You didn't work just a Dodgers fan. You knew who he was. Oh, like if you're like real big in the baseball.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know opposing teams announcing.
Yeah.
I just don't, Mike.
I barely.
I can honestly say I couldn't.
I only knew Vin Scully.
I couldn't name one if I tried.
Because they would always hear like, like one of the great announcers of all times they talk about in baseball, like Bob Uecker and Vin Scully. Those are like the two that I know outside of whoever the Pirates had.
Yeah.
But yeah, that for me, like like a lot of baseball fans know Vin Scully.
I gotta be honest.
I guarantee you, a lot of hockey fans know Mike Lang.
Going back to what you said about Bob Uecker, I wouldn't have even known him if he wasn't in movies. He was in a sitcom that was based right across the river.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. People go on about these announcers. This guy from the Cubs. This guy, I have no clue. Lucky I could get out of bed in the morning sometime. But Mike, we do got a lot of football talk to talk about today. We will get back to hockey because, of course, tonight there's a huge game going on in the hockey world. Mike, let's hop over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. This is a couple of things I found interesting over the past couple of days. All have to do with the quarterback situation. I guess I'll just start right here with this. The rumor mill. We like to keep the rumor mill spinning here on the show. Mike, just 2 days on Tuesday, I believe it was, this news come out. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. I think Derpy even might have sent it over. And I just want to say Derpy has the flu, everybody. So if you're expecting to see Derpy, I hope to get him back as soon as we can. But I talked to him, and he actually has the flu. He's down and out. So wish him the best. But this one here, Mike, the latest rumor mill in the quarterback's position for the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Mike, if this guy just didn't go through what he went through in New York, maybe he went through a quick bad stint somewhere, but it just seemed like he was in New York forever. It felt like it just felt like it just got worse and worse for this guy. I remember a couple years ago, I thought, all right, this dude ain't bad for the Giants. And then as the years went on, you just seen that there was, again, it was with the Giants, but Mike, Daniel Jones, again, up next in the rumor mill. What are your thoughts on Mr. Daniel Jones?
Hard pass. I don't want anything to do with Daniel Jones whatsoever. That bloated contract really set that team back. And you see how they cut him, and they're going to eat that salary that he had. And his best year was his rookie year. 24 touchdowns, 12 picks, but his next best year was that 2022 year, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, decent amount of yards, decent completion percentage. But that team was they had some weapons on that team. That team was starting to click. That's when Saquon was having his more or less comeback year. Steve Slayton had a good year, and then that offense was clicking. But he was kind of a passenger on that offense, and his career numbers are not that good. He's just not a good quarterback. 64% completion percentage.
Isn't that 2 out of 3 passes?
Yeah, that's kind of like what Justin Fields is too. They had the same completion percentage. Like
exactly my point.
What up, Ron? By the way, just saw you pop up on the board there. No, don't give me Daniel Jones. Do not give me Daniel Jones.
Good morning to Ron Navy. Good morning to Mark Malone on the board. Great to see you guys. Just started off with some Steeler talk. We kicking off with the rumor mill today. The latest one is in fact Daniel Jones. The possibility of Daniel Jones ending up in Pittsburgh. I don't think anybody wants. As a matter of fact, I see more memes out within the period of time. I mean, the news came out 2 days ago. I think Tuesday night I seen about a half dozen memes saying, no, please, no Daniel Jones. But that's where we are in the rumor. Again, Mike, I don't in a million years think that Daniel Jones is going to be under center for the Steelers this year.
He's another one of those
He's the flavor of the week.
He's another one of those quarterback that when he's a starter, he's bottom tier starter. But if he's your backup, he's a top tier backup. You know, he's wildly inconsistent, but at times wows you. Who does that remind you of? Every quarterback that we're talking about that could be the starter for the Steelers next year. It's like a dime a dozen quarterback is going to be our starting quarterback next year, and it's all going to come down to, it might be who's the cheapest option, or who do we think in the long run is going to give us the best shot. And we're in that 1980s era between Bradshaw and Ben of quarterback carousel. So
Mike, I had a couple words that I had right next on my list. This was almost like you took it right off my page. The things that you need, and in case you're wondering, and don't get me wrong, I know that everyone that views our shows are smart. We have the smartest viewers ever. But in case you didn't know, the one thing that you're looking at when you're looking for your quarterback, amongst a bunch of things, but consistency. The word that Mike said, I think he hit it right on the head. Consistency has got to be something that your franchise quarterback has and plays with, and he's got to be a reliable kind of guy. If you have a reliable, consistent quarterback on top of all the skills that you're supposed to have as an NFL quarterback and able to read, and like I said, there's a lot to go into it, Mike, but the two words that I think are the base, that if you don't have those, you don't go any further with searching the guy that you're looking at. They need to be reliable. They need to be consistent. Those are the things, because you're going to need to put drives together every game. You're going to need to put multiple drives together every game. You're going to need to put yourselves in position to score at the end of every half. There's so much that goes into football. You need a guy who's consistent. He's reliable. He can go out there. We're not saying perfect. We're not saying that, if he throws an interception, he's out on it. No, that's, it's football. Just giving you an idea of what, those little things that you look for. You could say we could look at this guy, we look at that guy, but has he been consistent at all in his career? And you would say no. And at that point, I think you stop the search, because I don't think that you want to continue. Again, you want to win. For two, you want to get better. And all those things, it takes a consistent play. And the people that aren't consistent, I'm not saying they're bad or they don't belong in the league. They're just not consistent. And when you're looking for a quarterback to lead your team week in, week out, on runs, in the playoffs, champion, you need a consistent guy. And to be honest with you, was either the guys consistent last year? Maybe we got a little too much of a small dose of Justin Fields to be able to tell entirely. But you got to, and then zoom out a little bit. Let's look at the rest of his career. Has he been consistent? So there is a lot to learn, a lot to talk about as far as Justin Fields. A lot of people are on that train already. They want this guy. They want him back. Let him run it back. Give him a chance, blah, blah, blah. But out of my peripheral vision, Mike, over the past couple of days, I hear that Justin Fields might be eyeing the New York Jets. So let's just say, this is gonna curl a lot of hairs, because at the end of the day, let's just say the Jets do offer him a nice contract and he wants to go. Now you're stuck with the situation, because he's kind of, I think, what everybody is saying. You know what? The least this is going to happen is Justin Fields is probably going to be the guy. He's going to stay. We're going to let him run it back. Russell Wilson's going to go elsewhere. Justin Fields will be the dude. Now let's just say the Jets, they come in, they swoop him up. And again, I don't think you're going to pay $80 million to Russell Wilson at this age. That's crazy. So, we could be in a crazy situation here within the next, whoever knows how long, Mike. A lot of things are going to happen. Again, March 12th starts free agency. At that point, it's going to be crazy. But the one thing we have going for us, Mike, we have a lot of cap space. We're loaded. We have an ass load.
$60 million in cap space.
So we could fix some of these problems pretty easily. And I know they're sitting in the office and they're weighing all this out and figuring out what they're going to do. But again, at the end of the day, Mike, I think a lot of people are safely betting on the fact that Justin Fields is probably going to get his opportunity this year. But I'm thinking not so fast, guys. You might want to keep your eye open, because, again, a team like the Jets, Mike would certainly put money forth in a dumb in a dumb
I know
signing. It's
that.
just
That's who they are.
they're
Yeah.
one of those teams.
It,
And before hold on, before I pass it off, this I don't think it's going to happen in a million years. But interesting enough, Fields is there's some kind of interest. I don't know if there's even conversation, but that's been the latest on Fields. Our wide receiver George Pickens in the past couple of days calls Aaron Rodgers the dream teammate. Now, listen, I'm not suggesting, and I'm not even throwing him in the rumor mill, even though he is. George Pickens called Aaron Rodgers the dream teammate. Mike, the floor is yours.
I'm going to address that last one. Of course, George would say that crazy attracts crazy. You know, you got that crazy girlfriend and the crazy boyfriend that are always together. That would be GP and Aaron Rodgers. If you want George Pickens to get his head all right and produce for you, you don't want Aaron Rodgers. You want this young team to produce, you don't want Aaron Rodgers. You saw it. He has nothing left in the tank. This is not, Aaron Rodgers throwing like back-to-back Hail Marys against the Cardinals in the playoffs to advance. It's not the Aaron Rodgers that was winning Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl and winning MVPs. This is a shell of his former self who can barely move around the pocket anymore. That bum ankle. I don't want him anywhere near this team. It would be god awful.
I mean, you remember how great it was, Mike, when the Jets gave him all that money and he got hurt?
Yeah, two plays in.
Or 2 minutes, into the season, was out all year. This guy, you avoid him.
I don't want him. Justin Fields would fit in nice in New York. I think he'd fit in well there. They can all lose together.
Everything would be right.
And then, like, Pittsburgh-wise, you're talking about, like, consistent quarterbacks. I was just looking through, like, all the free agent quarterbacks. The most consistent quarterbacks that have been consistent in their career that are available are Joe Flacco and Russell Wilson. But, you want them 10 years ago. Not now. Yeah. And then after that, it's Sam Darnold. But, he had that one good year. But the last 2 times you saw him out on the field, the playoff game and the season finale was not the prettiest performance, but you got teammates on, the Vikings that were sticking up for him saying, hey, it wasn't all on him, it was us too.
I mean, 15-2 is also kind of enticing as well.
Yeah, 15-2 is very enticing. And like you said, like he always showed flashes where he went. The Jets were terrible.
Absolutely.
Carolina, he sucked in Carolina. So did Baker Mayfield, and they both got out of Carolina, and look what happened to them. They played well. They blossomed into pretty good quarterbacks. So
like me, they blossomed like a beautiful
flower. Now, Darnold, he'd be the one I'd look at, but do you want to pay him $40 million a year?
Yeah,
that's the trick. And
right.
There goes your cap space for this year. Or do you want to go the route of I'm going to get a Russell Wilson, get a Mac Jones, get who's that idiot?
The thing
Daniel
about
Jones
that
type, and then spend, because those guys are only cost you about that $10 to $12 million a year. Then you got all this money to rebuild your offense. Shore up the defense, and then have a team in place ready to go, a la the Commanders when they got Jaden Daniels.
Let's get on the board. Mark Malone says I like Jones Rudolph type signing. Ron Navy says we have Bruce Arians to develop a new quarterback. Mark Malone says number one prereq, can they make all the throws? That's all. Yeah, that's
can they do it consistently? Right? That's the problem.
Mark Malone, are they tall enough to hit a slant or a drag?
Yep.
Mark also says, if not, the opponent won't be defending that part of the field. Mark also says, which means they will be defending the F out of the others that you can actually threaten. Ron Navy says, give A-Rod Adams combo for a year. Let A-Rod dictate the offense. No. Ron also says we're number one in the NFL with dead cap money, only like 48. Didn't we get a bunch on the Preston Smith?
No. There were the dead cap space for we had none of that for Preston Smith. It was all free money, and then the dead cap space. Yeah, Ron's right. We're $45,000 in dead cap space. So we got plenty of room to work with. It's like 60 million, like anywhere between 55 and 60 million. My biggest worry is they're going to announce extensions to, someone like a TJ Watt, announce an extension to Cam Hayward towards adding cap to this year. Like,
Pete Morton says, "What's up, Pete? Good morning to you, sir." He says, "Two agents of chaos."
yeah.
Mark Malone says, "Looked like Rodgers was getting back right at the end of last year." Mark, he said he was balling again. P says, "Probably all that sitting Indian style in his 40s, bad for the tendons." And Ninja Joe, what's up, my man? He says, "I hear Ryan Tannehill's a free agent." What would that look like? He has run Smith's off. You know what it would look like? It would, listen, there's no fairy dust. Ryan Tannehill would look like Ryan Tannehill. As we go through these rumors, and that's the one thing I want to say, we're going to mention dozens of quarterbacks probably, but they are who they are. At the end of the day, you've seen Ryan Tannehill on different teams. He was in Miami. He was in Tennessee. He was here. You know what you got. And I don't think you're going to be able to sprinkle fairy dust on Ryan Tannehill and make him come here and make the Steelers turn the Steelers around to where we want to be. So what I'm saying, there's a thin requirement. There's a requirements that you look at and say, I need this if I'm going to take this guy. If I'm going to give this guy money, Ryan Tannehill, like I said, he is Ryan Tannehill. You look at the group of guys, Mike, they are who they are. If they've been in the league for, past their rookie contract, in the league, they are what they are. Maybe a guy 1-2 years in, maybe didn't get an opportunity or something, an injury. Maybe they come back. But I got to be honest with you. At the end of the day, players are who players are. If you get Ryan Tannehill, you're going to get Ryan Tannehill. No. And he's, like I said, I don't see us hoisting a Lombardi next February with Ryan Tannehill under center. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am, Mike. I think that if you look around the league, you could pretty much tell what teams are going to do by the quarterbacks that they have. Some guys are qualified to get it done. Other guys aren't. Other guys aren't even anywhere close. So, again, what do we want? Do we want a quarterback that is going to get us there? Or do we want to keep messing around and kicking the can down the road as a term that we like to use here on the show? And I think Ryan Tannehill signing would be something like that. I think we have to, and it's a hard thing because, Mike, I always say this, when you finish 9-7 every year, it puts you in a situation to where you're smack dab in the middle and it's hard for you to do much. And that's, we are either going to go all in on somebody like a Sam Darnold per se. He's going to come. We're going to have a good season. We might even win a playoff game. But if you go ahead and you just give Ryan Tannehill, you're going to get last season all over again. We're going to be having the same conversation next year. So, I mean, there's a narrow road that you're looking at when you're trying to figure this out. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Mike, he's not terrible. Ryan Tannehill had a good season or two in Tennessee. But at the end of the day, you're still getting Ryan Tannehill. Place him in what you know that we just did this past season. How does that end out looking to you at the end of the year? To me, not that good. I could be wrong. I mean, it's not written in stone. But again, you either want to go all in or don't go in enough to where you lose, which a lot of people aren't a big fan of in Pittsburgh, especially, to try to get something bigger next year. But these middle of the road guys, that's all they're going to be is middle of the road. And you got to understand that's all they're going to be moving forward. They're just there's something to get you from one time to the next. I don't see much out there.
We're in the Kent Graham era of Steeler quarterbacks.
Mike Tomczak's, Kent Graham's, Jim Miller's. This is where we're at. If you want to look on the
Ryan
timeline,
Tannehill, he'll be 37 years old. Hasn't played since 2023. And the last time he played, he had 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And he was god awful, 3-5 in Tennessee in like the 8 games that he played. No, he had a little bit of a success in 2019 and 2020, and then after that he came crashing back down to earth to who he was. You at that point you might as well just get 40-year-old Joe Flacco or run back Russell Wilson if you're getting Ryan Tannehill.
And again, there's a handful.
I'd rather lose, win or lose with a Justin Fields, or if we go the route like a Mac Jones, Daniel Jones. I'd rather lose with those guys than lose.
Well, you are going to lose.
And then rather lose with.
I'd
rather lose with them than like a Ryan Tannehill or Joe Flacco or Russell Wilson.
Because are the Steelers so good anymore that you could say that Daniel Jones could come here and be a better player because we are so good?
Yeah.
We're not that team right now. We're trying to find ourselves and figure out what the hell we have going on. In the past, you could have said, "Oh yeah, Michael Vick could step in as a backup and be pretty productive on this team because we had a pretty good thing going." if we bring in one of these guys, they're not going to change anything. If anything, I say the positive, Mike, that you would look forward to is hope that they could lose enough so we could get a quarterback in the early first round of the 2026 draft right here in Pittsburgh would be the ideal situation. But
yeah,
you know.
and even if you get one of these guys and you look out to like a halfway decent season, like you can still trade up to go and get one of those quarterbacks that you think is going to wow you, because you're only going to sign these guys to a 1 year, maybe 2 year deal. But it's I would focus all my attention on upgrading the wide receiver room, upgrade running back room, upgrading cornerbacks, upgrading the D line, and then whoever my quarterback happens to be, that's who it happens to be. Because the roster's not there yet to make a playoff push. It's there to, with the right quarterback, get you 9-8 in possible playoff matchup, but it's not there to get a run. We got to get all the other pieces built into place, and use this purgatory time to actually rebuild the team instead of trying to string it along, because it's not working. We're stuck in the middle, and just rebuild the team. But I guarantee you what they're going to do. They're going to announce a contract extension for TJ Watt. They're going to renegotiate Cam Hayward's contract, which I don't have a problem with, because he has all of his money is there for him in this contract. There's going to be no added value to it. Maybe move money from next year to this year, and this will be his last year, his last hurrah. That's fine. Raise it just a little bit, but you have enough money to where it's not going to hurt. But I don't want to see a TJ Watt extension for another, a 3-year extension out of TJ Watt. I have a feeling that is going to happen, and that's where a lot of our cap money is going to go.
Another issue that we might be dealing with this year, of course, I mean, with other issues, is figuring out this quarterback or this running back situation. We don't know who our quarterback, and we don't even know what our running back room is going to look like. Like, this is a list of the top 10 running backs in the 25 free agency. Starting, I'm going to go, I'll go from 10 to 1, like Elijah Mitchell. So again, these are names, a lot of people are going to say that, well, we could probably get a running back in the draft, but again, you just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get, guys. So in the free agency, this is the 10 best free agent running backs in the 25 free agency. Number 10, Elijah Mitchell. Number 9, Kareem Hunt. Number 8, Jordan Mason. Number 7, Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is 7 on this list. Kenneth Gainwell, number 6. So, I mean, if you're looking for free agents for a possible replacement for Najee, this is the poll that you will be looking at. Number 5, Nick Chubb. Number 4, Rico Dowdle. Number 3, J.K. Dobbins. Number 2, who is it? Jones? I don't know. I can't read my writing. Number 2, Aaron Jones. I'm sorry. And number 1, guys, Najee Harris. Number 1 RB from the 25 free agency in the top 10. Number 1 is Najee Harris, according to Fox. So, guys, if we go free agency, we're going to be downgrading right off the top, just because, I mean, this list is pretty accurate, I would think, as far as where Kareem Hunt is in his career. Chubb is in his career. Of course, they would have been higher had they not had injuries. So again, I mean, is there anybody on this list that you would love to see? And if not, we're going to be dealing with a rookie or somebody less than this. So interesting situation, not only at quarterback, but running back and wide receiver, Mike, and a lot of things. So again, we are lucky that we have a lot of money. And I got to tell you, Mike, March 12th can't get here fast enough. Free agent season starts at 4:00 p.m. that day. But Mike, this offense, there's kind of a chance, just as good of a chance that this offense goes backwards as that it goes forward. No matter what we do, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and a young offensive line that, this guy didn't play a whole year with an injury. This guy might be dumber than dirt and can't figure out his position. So, Mike, is the offense in position to move forward? Or again, I wouldn't say that it's out of the question to say that it moves backwards. And if it does, what kind of guys are you going to bring in to fill your quarterback position?
What I would do on offense to, like you said, to make it move forward, I'm definitely bringing back Jaylen Warren. He's proven he is a really good all-around running back, especially in the passing game. Picking up blitzers, that's huge.
Yeah, I don't think that's a no
I'm bringing
question. I
him
think you
back,
bring
and
him
then
back.
in the free agency, I'm looking at Aaron Jones. I'd bring him in, or Nick Chubb. Even though he was injured, he came back. He had some production, but that Browns team was bad. You got to remember that he was off to a damn hot start, 1,000 yards every year except his rookie year.
So bringing in an
Yeah, I
aged,
know. I
broken
know.
running back on this offense, is that
Uh,
what we want?
he wouldn't be your every down back. I think Warren would be, but maybe Aaron Jones. But also, too, they're all both 30-year-old running backs. But I also read a report, too, that, their Steelers are looking into bringing Najee back on a long-term deal. So I don't know where you go on that route, but definitely you start bringing back Jalen Warren. And then in that offensive side of the ball, you definitely have to upgrade the receiver position. Because if you upgrade the receiver position and say you bring in back, Justin Fields, a Daniel Jones, a Mac Jones, okay, at least he'll have weapons to work with.
Stop saying that. Stop
I
saying
know.
Jones.
You know
No,
what? Fuck it. Give me Daniel Jones.
he's
I know.
not coming
But
here.
I'm
It's
just
not
saying, in
happening.
that pool of quarterbacks that were rumored to, you go out, make a splash, go out, like we were saying, like get like a Chris Godwin type receiver and pair him with um, George Pickens, and then you pair it with a first round wide receiver.
Why is this so
It's
difficult? Deontay Johnson was a
uh-huh.
nut. Last year, they wouldn't even sign a number 2. Then they do sign him, and they don't even use. Why is this so difficult? Why can't we just get a receiver like everybody else around the league? Why? Why do we go a whole season without a receiver, Mike? Why is this so difficult? Why can't the Pittsburgh Steelers just get somebody that could catch a football? Is that hard to do in the football world? Find a guy that can catch a football? Why? Why is this still an issue with this team?
Well, here we had a trade worked out. It fell through. Had a trade worked out. A guy got hurt. Then we finally, like you said, we went out and got a guy, and it just didn't work. And then you got to, the offense we were running was so stupid. And you hope that we'll actually attack the middle of the field so we can use these weapons. That's the big thing. The way we're running the offense. Like if you're a really big time free agent receiver, do you want to come here? Do you want to come and play in this offense if you're a wide receiver? That's what you got to look. And that's the thing. Do you do?
But they want to play for Mike Tomlin, so what's the problem? It doesn't matter if you're not good. Everybody loves to play for Mike Tomlin. Why don't they just come play for Mike Tomlin? That seems to always be the common denominator when guys come here.
Like then that always bugs me too. That thing. Everyone wants to play for Mike Tomlin. We never signed free agents. Top tier free agents. James Ferrier and
Yeah.
Patrick Queen are the only two, because what do? We just re-sign our own players all the time. So it's very rare we actually go out and get free agents. So that's why I'm really not. I don't know. Are we going to go out and get a top flight receiver? Probably not, unless the only one I can think of is swing a trade again with, talk to Jacksonville, Christian Kirk. We had the trade worked out until he hurt his shoulder, and he should be back healthy by the time OTA kicks off. No, you get him, George Pickens, and Luther Burton the second in the first, or the third in the first round, or Mbaka in the first round. Okay, now you got 3 wide receivers. Then okay, I can work with that. With whatever quarterback I have. I have weapons now that my quarterback can throw to. Last year, we were slowly developing in Calvin Austin. He eventually became our number 2 wide receiver. Now you bring in a key free agent, a draft pick. Him and Roman Wilson slot into your number 4 or 5 guys that are rotating in and out. Now you actually have a wide receiving core. Last year we had George Pickens and people trying to figure it out.
I always forget about Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
Like I always forget about him. And the thing about him, I think he makes it more complicated because you don't know what you got.
Yeah.
You don't know if he is going to be good or he's not going to be the guy. So this kind of puts you in behind the 8 ball in a sense, in a way, because now you have to plan accordingly. I mean, what if this guy's a total bust? Now I don't know, man. The Roman Wilson thing doesn't sit with me very well. Finish up, because I do want to get some more of these messages. I didn't realize that they were all pouring in. So
I'm good right there, because that's my whole thing is we have to get weapons before we really get the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. All right, P says, why is anyone still trying this Tannehill thing? May as well get Fitzmagic.
Right?
Dang, the EIQBs.
Right?
Ron says, don't forget Pickett now has a Super Bowl ring. That's true. He does. Yinzer Joe says, I do want to say good morning to P as well. Good morning, P. Joe says, but Tannehill has ran Smith's offense. It was on the top of the offenses. But you know what? They had a thing going also against Joe. They had Derrick Henry. And Arthur Smith hasn't had great. That's a good point.
That was the best.
It's a point. That was the best
he's ever had. And,
yes.
Like
Ron says, as long as Tomlin is here, we're effed. I think people agree with you finally. We're starting to finally agree with you on that one. P says, let's tempt Phillip Rivers out of retirement.
Him and his 12 kids.
He may need a break from the 12 kids and wife. Yeah. Yenzer Joe says, Chris Godwin is talking to Tampa Bay about resigning, unfortunately. Which I think it's just somebody of that quality, though. I think that level is what
such a damn good receiver,
saying.
Route runner, a winner.
P says, sounds like a GM issue. Mark Malone, remember how long Cowher took acquiring weapons? I think it was 13 years. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I do got a couple numbers here, though, guys. Speaking of the Steelers, get this. You know how these two teams just this year went and they got 15 wins, the Lions and whoever, the Chiefs, and neither of them won the Super Bowl? Get this. Since 1986, 7 teams had 15-plus wins. None of them won the Super Bowl. The 98 Vikings went 15-1. The 07 Patriots, of course, were 18-0 and lost in the Super Bowl. The 15 Carolina Panthers, 10 years ago, a lot of people forget about that team. The 24, good morning, Jen. The 24 Kansas City Chiefs, the 24 Detroit Lions. Green Bay did it the year after they beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. And then the Steelers in 04 went 15-1. Guys, all 7 teams that won 15-plus games since the mid-'80s, none of them went on to win a Super Bowl. That's kind of an amazing number. That's kind of crazy. You think about.
Because you figure,
because they were all very good teams.
That dominant all regular season, and then boom, playoffs come around, and you can't close it out. Kicking the teeth.
I mean, I wouldn't want to face that 98 Vikings team or the 07 Patriots.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, even the 24 Lions. I wouldn't want to face that team that just lost a month ago. I wouldn't.
They were playing really.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. They'll get Hutchinson back too. That's what hurt them too. They injuries happened to that team. They lost Aiden Hutchinson. They lost some other key players as well down the stretch, and that they just didn't have the depth to keep it rolling.
Here's another one that's interesting. There's only been 3 teams since 2000. So, I mean, not that crazy. Since 2000, 3 teams with the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense to win the Super Bowl, Mike. You want to try to name the 3 teams that had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense to win the Super Bowl since 2000.
Wow. Number 1 defense, number 1 offense.
3 teams. You know what?
I can't think of any.
Philadelphia this year.
Oh, yeah.
Is 1. And I'm going to give you that because that was this year. So 2 teams other than them, Mike, 2 teams had the number 1 offense and number 1 defense that won the Super Bowl since 2000. Philadelphia being one of them. No.
Kansas City?
No.
I'm at a loss.
Believe it or not, the 02 Buccaneers. I didn't realize they had the number 1 offense.
I knew they had a damn good defense. I knew they had a good offense. I didn't realize it was that good.
Their defense was generational. The offense was good enough, but if you went at Brad Johnson got the job done. But if they had a good quarterback, man, that team would have been something else. That Tampa Bay team would have been something else. The 02 Bucks, 24 Eagles, and get this, the 2013 Seattle Seahawks.
I knew they had a great defense. I didn't realize that offense. And the offense put up numbers. He had,
Mike, we just got Russell Wilson a dozen years too late.
Thing, because you can see, he still has the mind for the game, and he still showed flashes when he was able to get out of the pocket and zip it downfield. He made those plays, but he just can't do it consistently anymore because he's so old.
Good morning, Jen. Always great to see you. Hope everything's going well for you. We're catching up, guys. Just a little bit of a review from this morning, talking Pittsburgh Steelers. The rumor mill, excuse me, continues. The latest rumor is the Daniel Jones rumor. Of course, we shot that down out of the sky like a
Oh,
clay
God.
pigeon. That is also Fields. Fields, we know that there's interest between the New York Jets and Justin Fields. George Pickens calls Aaron Rodgers the dream teammate. Besides for that, a little bit of running back talk, free agency coming up on March 12th. It starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cannot wait. Columbine starts next week, I believe Thursday. Goes for about a week, I think. I didn't look at the exact dates, but I do know it starts the end of next week, the NFL Combine. Guys, things are going to be rolling, and then shortly after the March 12th free agency, it won't be long, right around the corner, it'll be draft time up in Wisconsin for the 2025 NFL Draft. Mike, seven charged in a burglary ring that targeted Mahomes, Kelsey, and other players. 7 Chileans were charged with theft, moving stolen property across state lines, all this kind of garbage. But it was a conspiracy. It was a ring. They were looking for certain places. They went in and was able to get them. But all 7 are picked up and charged. So hopefully justice gets served and no more NFL guys get their houses broken into. But they know where to go, right?
I guess that's leading me to like the question of like, who's the ringleader? Who was?
Yeah. Well, they showed a picture of them.
Yeah, because I saw the picture of them, and I'm like, who's? I don't think the ringleader's there. I don't think the person who orchestrated this is there. Like these look like hired.
None of these guys.
Hired guys, like your hired goon squad.
Trope discovered in the NFL script writer's room. Also, people were guessing. Okay, they were guessing some teams. Mark Malone send them to Gitmo. Who knows? That's where they might end up. Guys, also, I don't know if anybody saw this, which I think is one of the funnier stories that I saw, is Taylor Swift says she's never touring in Philadelphia ever again after being booed at the Super Bowl. Isn't she from Eastern Pennsylvania? Isn't Taylor Swift literally from like Reading or something? So the funniest thing I think about this is just the fact that they boo her in the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia fans boo her. She says she's not ever touring in Philadelphia again, which I think is funny. But again, I think the funniest part of that, Mike, is the fact that she's from Eastern Pennsylvania.
Huh. Is that true then?
And this is the part where you reply.
No, I was looking up to see if it was true.
Well, anyway, she is from the eastern part of the state. I think that's hilarious. So that would be like, somebody like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm never, ever going to do anything for Pitt, or, Mr. Rogers. Somebody boos Mr. Rogers and he says, I'm never, ever going to do my work in Pittsburgh again. I think it's crazy. Taylor Swift, everybody, there she goes. This is, Mike, it's going into the 3rd season this year with Taylor Swift.
And you know what? She started showing up to these games, and then all of a sudden, the salary cap increases. I'm just saying. She shows up. The NFL got more money. The Steelers got more money. Maybe we need Taylor to come to more. She needs to come to Steeler games.
It don't matter. We're gonna finish 9-7.
Well, fuck yeah, 9-7 for perpetuity, baby. Every game, game is a competitive game. Every game is meaningful.
Mike, also, I did want to say this. Check out Mike's mock draft over on the website. I did get a chance to look at it yesterday. A lot of talk during the downtime. So if you get an opportunity, go over to the website today, tomorrow, whenever, and check out. Mike does have the updated mock draft over on the website. Mike, who was your top pick? Who was your number one? Was it the guy from Ohio State?
I did it. None of the receivers were available when I picked. So like the best fit for the team, God, you're gonna kill me, was the defensive lineman from Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. Like there was no receiver. Yeah, like I said on the Discord, I think like a D line of him, Cam Hayward, and Keanu Benton would be a vast improvement of what we have now, and that would help that defense out in the long run.
Joe says Swift is from West Reading. I knew it was somewhere over there. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. Once you talk about the eastern side of the state, I don't know many
Yeah.
city town names.
I
I
know,
just
I know
don't.
Happy Valley and like what Wilkes.
Well, that's
Yeah,
center.
that's
That's
middle.
the
Oh,
middle of the state. That's not
Wilkes-Barre,
even.
is that over on that side? Yeah,
Yeah,
this is for the Penguins.
Wilkes-Barre,
Yeah,
Scranton,
yeah,
Philadelphia, all that
yeah. And
garbage.
I did.
Nothing ever
Oh,
relevant though. I got to be honest. Nothing. Have you? Whatever. I mean, come on,
yeah,
Reading,
yeah,
West
Reading,
Reading.
Scranton.
So, also, Mike, what else we got going on here? Pittsburgh Pirates. Greg Brown says there's a reason for optimism in the pit for the Pittsburgh Pirates this season. You want to know his explanation?
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Because he says this, Mike. Believe me, they want to win.
Of course, the paid employee will say that.
Yeah, Greg Brown, reason to feel optimistic for the Pirates this year. End quote. Believe me,
Oh
they want to
God.
win. That's why. That's why, Mike. That is why we're going to feel optimistic this year about this Pirates team that's been terrible for 4 decades almost. Because Greg Brown says that they want to win.
Oh God.
They must never wanted to win. That has
Never,
to be what it
until
is,
this
right?
time. Until this time, they want to win now. Their free agent signings say otherwise, but they want to win.
On the board, Jen says, I love it. Whoop whoop. I love Nolan. I do too. We could sign an experienced wide receiver free agent and draft a wide receiver in a later round. Good morning to you, my friend, over enthusiastic Maud Caleb. He says, we were riding to the igloo to pay homage to the Langisms. Lord Stanley, get me my brandy. It will always be a hockey night in Pittsburgh. I got to be honest. Try going through a whole season of the Penguins, watching the games, and not busting out in a
Right?
Langanism at some point when you score, when
Uh-huh.
an overtime go, whatever. Try doing it. If you're a Penguins fan, you won't make it through a season. I've tried it many years. It just doesn't happen,
No.
Mike. Of course, he's referring back to the death of Mike Lang, the longtime voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Mhm.
76 years old, guys. 76 years old. Soccer, Mike. We always talk about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but this year there's an addition. We have the Pittsburgh Riveters. That's right, the
Yes.
women's team. The women's soccer team will be playing down at Highmark Stadium where the Hounds play. Mike, the Pittsburgh Riveters open up against Cleveland at home in May to
Fuck
start off
yeah.
the historic Pittsburgh
You
Riveters gals team. I
They better
can't wait.
fucking win
I
that
cannot
game
wait.
because you're playing the Cleveland team. Nothing would endear you more to the hearts of the Yinzers is to beat a team from Cleveland. So let's go, ladies. Kick that ass.
Absolutely. NBA, follow the NBA. They were back in action last night. The Lakers took a loss to the Hornets 100-97. And they are back after their all-star break. The UFL, Mike, we can't wait for spring football. That starts on March 28th. March 28th, we're going to be kicking off the UFL season. Some more football. I can't wait. It's not the NFL, but you know what? At the end of the day, guys, it does the
Yep.
trick. I got to be honest because we do follow the Steelers 365. So some UFL sprinkled in there as well. It's a nice it's a nice change of pace. They start their season on March 28th. Also, the Pitt Panthers they got a win the other night. They win over Syracuse 80-69. Their next game will be at Notre Dame Saturday at 2:15. Check out the Pitt Panthers on the hardwood this weekend. And Mike, the big game tonight is between the USA
Yep.
hockey team versus the Team Canada. Sidney Crosby leads with most points so far in this halfway point tournament, I guess, if you will. Sidney Crosby does lead with points where he will be taking his Team Canada against Mike Sullivan,
Mm-hmm.
of course, our coach here in Pittsburgh. He's also coaching Team USA tonight, 8 o'clock, big game. I don't think you're going to see the
No.
fights that you've seen last time. I think it's going to be cleaned up, tightened up. But you know what? This should be a
Oh
hell of a
yeah.
hockey game. I think between the two best groups of hockey players on the planet, Team USA, Team Canada, tonight, 8 o'clock for the championship. So that's where I'll be. That's what I'll be watching tonight, Mike. Not a whole lot else going on besides for that. But at the end of the day, I think that should be a really good
I think
hockey
it's gonna
game.
be a damn good game, and I think Sidney Crosby is going to put on a performance tonight. He had his tweet about Mike Lang, and not just a great announcer, but like a friend. Sid, he's one of those guys. He's like Lemieux. He's like Jordan. He's like Gretzky. They rise to the occasion, and when something like that happens, you know, That makes that moment even more special for him. I'm looking for Sid to have a dynamite game. I hope the U.S. wins, so we can come home with the win. But I think Sid's going to put on a masterful performance and show why he's still probably the best player in hockey.
And taking that one
Oh,
loss,
that pisses him off.
Absolutely. If you know Sidney Crosby like we do, this guy is he's a beast. He really is. He doesn't look like it. He looks like a but the guy is a hockey beast. He really is.
Everything personal.
I'm going to put my money on if I was a gambling man, I would put my money on Team Canada tonight, but I'm not. So like Mike, I'm going to cheer for USA. I'm going to hope that Sidney Crosby does great at the end of the day, but I feel that Team Canada, it's going to be tough to beat Canada twice in this shorter period of time. So that's where I'm going with my pick, and that's the only reason why, because it's so close and you just beat this team that you haven't beaten forever. I say Sidney Crosby gets it back together. They win tonight against Team USA. I hope I'm wrong, but that's where my gut lies, Mike. That's where my guts lies with this Team Canada.
I don't know. I think the U.S. just might have a slight edge, especially in goaltending. But
who's Canada's goalie?
I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I can't.
Okay.
I can't think of one. Yeah, I know it's like Hellebrook is the Winnipeg goalie is the U.S. goalie.
Yeah.
Canada's goalie is
So big game tonight. And then it's going to be done. And they'll be back to the regular season. I think the 22nd on Saturday, Sunday, the 25th, and then the 27th. So the Penguins got a lot of action coming starting this weekend after the break. I guess you could call this the All-Star break. But tonight, guys, 8:00 p.m., USA versus Canada. I can't wait, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
the2dumbyinjers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there, got all of our links over there, and the blog. Like Ryan said, I got the mock draft up over there. Couple decent picks on there. Just the way that mock draft fell. If that would be the way the Steelers draft falls, I wouldn't be too displeased with it. I'm going to be honest. Anything after the 4th round, I don't know who half these players are, and I based on just PFF rankings and positional need.
That's one thing about mock drafts, and I've always kind of complained about them because they're so difficult. It's almost like you don't know who's going to get picked. So if you have guys picked in the 2nd round, if somebody that doesn't get picked by the way that you picked, goes in the 1st round, and now this team has to adjust how they're picking. This team has to adjust. This team now. So the mock drafts are tough to do. But nonetheless, they're fun. Look and see what people think, and get an idea of what the possibilities are for your team, Mike. So I was super excited to see yours did get up, and I know that you were working hard on it to get this back up on the website.
Yeah, I just find it funny. Like PFS says like the Steelers needs were like quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback. No mention of defensive line. No mention of running back. So
they probably ran out of room, Mike.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. There's some teams that have like every position listed, but it's funny. Like for the Steelers, like you can tell like a lot of these places don't have an in-depth look at like the actual roster construction of these teams.
Right. Yeah.
So check it out. It's my favorite time of the year because it's like being a little kid again. The what ifs.
Right. I like the what ifs too.
I know it's fun.
The draft, like I said, the mock trials are just hard. The mock drafts because again, once somebody gets picked, that like I said, let's say this person, and it's not for awards or money or anything like that, but if you do it, it's very difficult to do. And again, that's what kind of gets to me. But Mike does it and enjoys it. It kind of gives me anxiety, so I don't. But go check it out over on the website www.the2dumbyinjers.com. You can check out all of Mike's mock draft and more in the blog and all that fun stuff over the website. Go check it out. Mike, this is the question of the day. We're going to go with a hockey question because we do have the big hockey game tonight. It's Team USA versus Team Canada for the championship, Mike, 8:00 p.m. tonight. This is your daily trivia question. Everybody on the board, everybody at home, Mike, put on your thinking cap. Here we go. How many times has the USA hockey team won gold in the Olympics? How many times has Team USA in hockey won gold in the Olympics? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. Let me get, I'm going to touch on Caleb here real quick, Mike, while you're thinking on that.
Yeah.
Over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb says, before show's over, can we shout out the Packers? Yes. You know what? I seen that the other day. I was watching the show from Tuesday, and you did ask, and I, you know what? I didn't catch it till after, so we can do that. He is doing a live stream raising $1 million for children of fallen patriots. He's been live for 5 days straight and has raised over $450,000. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we wrap up. I did want to tell you that, Caleb, I did catch that, but I didn't catch it till late. Let's get back on the trivia, Mike. How many times has the USA hockey team won the gold in the Olympics?
There's only one that comes to mind.
Right.
That was the Miracle on Ice. Like I remember the one where the guys lost and trashed the hotel room, and that kind of make me not root for them ever. Ron's saying two. I just remember the one. You know what? I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm going to trust Ron here. I'm going with two. I'm riding with Ron Navy.
All right. So you're going against your own internal instincts. You're going with what Ron says with two.
You know what?
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't remember, and maybe his memory is a little bit better than mine. I'm trusting him.
Glad. Okay. No, good enough for me. How many times? The question of the day: how many times has Team USA won the gold in the Olympics? Not like World Games, not All-Star breaks. In the Olympics, Mike, how many times has Team USA won the gold in the Olympics in hockey? The answer, 1980. Everybody knows about that one.
Yep.
I think there's movies and books and posters and everything else about that one, Mike. But they also did it in 1960 as well for a total of two. You're correct. You and Ron are both correct.
Thanks, Ron.
Two gold medals by the USA hockey team. Guys, check them out tonight. USA, Canada. It doesn't get better than that whenever you when you talk hockey. It really doesn't. We could rate in there. Glad you watched. Yeah, I'm pretty meticulous. I'll watch and yeah, no problem. Like I said, I certainly caught it after the fact. If I would have caught it during, we would have certainly mentioned it. Ron says, but it is men's hockey and women? No, just men's. Mike's jumping off the bridge with Ron.
Hell, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Let me get this shout out here though. This is over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb brought this to our attention. He wants us to do a shout out for he says a Packers YouTuber, or is that what that is?
Yeah.
This Tom Grossi. He's doing a live stream raising $1 million for children of fallen patriots. It's a good cause, of course, absolutely good stuff here. He says he has been live for 5 days straight and raised over $450,000. That's amazing work. So I do want to give a shout out. Maybe go look him up, or even if you're feeling generous. So again, check it out. Tom Grossi, brought to my attention by over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb. He's doing a live stream raising $1 million for children of fallen patriots. Been live for 5 days, raised over $450,000. So there you go, guys. Good stuff. It's always great to see people when they're trying to do good in the world. Yeah. And you can see right here on the list, over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb would put up here in the stream. There's a list to the Grossi stream. Check it out after the show. Very, very interesting. Good, kudos. Good to him. Very glad to hear that. Mike, I'll go first. My thing of the day is this. You may not love that Taylor Swift is from Pennsylvania, but you may love that the Slinky, bubblegum, Crayola crayons, the Ferris wheel, the zipper, the Jeep, the Big Mac, the Tasty Cake, the vacuum tube, and the banana split, Mike, were all invented, created, discovered in Pennsylvania. So say what you will. You don't have to like Taylor. You have a whole bunch of other things here in PA. Most importantly, Mike, our black and gold football team right here in Western Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike, what about you? Anything before we just do wrap things up?
All I gotta say is, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
There you go.
R.I.P. Mike Lang.
Way to end it, Mike. Let me jump on one more here with Caleb real quick.
Yeah.
Money supports college tuition for children impacted by parents who have been lost in duty, military training, and suicide. Grossi is doing good stuff over there. Good for him. Again, love to
Hell
hear
yeah.
it. Love to hear somebody's doing the good work out there. So go check it out one more time, everybody. That is the YouTube. The address link is right up here on the board. Click it, save it. But, do go check it out. Mike, yes, you did say Elvis has finally left the building. That's so true. Unfortunately, Mike Lang did pass away at 76 last night. So it is a somber day in Pittsburgh. Also, the baseball player Scott Sauerbeck at 53
Yep.
within the hour after Mike Lang passes away as well. So again, somber day. But you know what? We got hockey tonight, Mike. Let's see if Sidney Crosby or Mike Sullivan will bring home the gold of the championship for their midseason tournament. That's tonight at 8 o'clock. And it looks like that's pretty much about everything as
Yep.
far as sports goes. But we'll be back tomorrow, first thing, to talk about that and much, much more. Finch will be in the house tomorrow. Also, if Derpy feels any better, he's going to try to make it. But he's out with the flu. He is down and out. So tomorrow we'll be back at our regular time. Mike, Finch, myself. We hope everybody has a great Thursday. Stay warm. And for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers, everybody have a great